What's going on, guys? So, as you all know, I enjoy bringing you information regarding Friday the 13th while we're all kind of just sitting around waiting for a release date. And I know a lot of you that watch these kinds of videos are those who follow the game closely and care about its development. But while browsing the game's Reddit the other day, I came across a list that a user made where he listed the major changes that have occurred since we played the beta. And despite already knowing the changes that were listed in his post, it was cool to see this information compiled into one location, and I figured I should do the same for you guys, as I think some of you will enjoy it. First off, to give credit where it's due, I owe the organization of the content in this video to Laurie Stranda, who posted this information to Friday the 13th The Game's Reddit, as well as some of the people who commented, because their information that they included will be in this video as well. Now, I'm not going to be going extremely in-depth on all of the changes that have been made. I'm more or less just going to mention them and brush up basically what they are. I've already done some pretty in-depth videos on a lot of the changes mentioned, so links to those will be in the description below if you want more information. First off on the list are the changes to the Firecrackers and flare gun in the game. These two items were relatively useless in the beta, and if you found one of them in a drawer, you would usually leave it there. And if for whatever reason you picked up one of these items and then needed space in your inventory down the road, these were the first to go. The developers have since made Firecrackers and flare guns much more viable and actually turned them into items that you want to hold on to. Now it appears Firecrackers can be thrown a short distance and stun Jason for a small amount of time. The flare gun saw some similar changes, and now instead of being just shot straight up into the sky, counselors can actually aim and shoot the flare gun at Jason. It's said that a headshot on Jason with the flare gun will stun him for a moment. While these changes may not seem too significant, they really make holding on to these items much more viable, as it's always a huge layer of comfort for counselors to have an extra line of defense against Jason. There were also changes made to Jason's Sensibility, which is the ability that allows Jason to see visual representations of noises characters are making, as well as red outlines of characters who currently have a high level of fear. In the beta, when Jason used his sensibility, he could pick up on this stuff all over the map. The developers said that alongside tweaking the sound blips that are generated and making sure they're displaying properly based on character stats, that the ability now works based on proximity to Jason's location. Not only that, but at the beginning of a match, Jason can only detect sounds and fear outlines within a certain range of himself, and it's said that the range in which he can detect these things is relatively small. But as the match goes on, this net expands, and as you get closer to the end of the match, it's back up where it originally was, where you can detect this stuff all over the map. This is personally one of my favorite changes, as the ability now seems very well balanced and creates a somewhat guided pacing to the match. Although this next one is a very small change, it is worth mentioning. Jason's Rage ability, the one that becomes available about halfway through the match, now automatically activates itself once available. Although this is just a small quality of life improvement, it's a good change nonetheless. Now on to one of the biggest changes. Jason's new ability, Stalk. Stalk is a very powerful ability and also a very scary ability for the counselors. Most of you are already very familiar with this, but just for those of you who aren't, back in the beta, anytime Jason was in the vicinity of a counselor, that counselor would hear music queue up and start to play. Players didn't have to see Jason or have any other indication he was nearby. The music would simply start playing and they would know Jason was nearby and a threat to them at that moment. This is a weird thing for gameplay, because if you don't hear music, you know you're safe and you can play risky. And once you hear music, you can stop what you're doing immediately and run, hide, and play it safe for a while. Once the music is gone, just go back to what you were doing. The thing about the way this was in the beta was Jason had no way of disabling this music. Stalk is the ability that stepped in to help Jason out with this. This ability doesn't become available to Jason until about halfway through the match. When he uses the ability, the music is disabled, and he's also got a limited range to pick up on audio blips for more things than Sense is able to, such as opening drawers or windows. The ability also lasts for varying amounts of time based off of Jason's movement. It's said that if Jason is moving, the ability will only last about 20 seconds. But if Jason is standing completely still, the ability will last 3 minutes. It's also worth mentioning that Jason can deactivate the ability at any time should he want to, and that the ability is also automatically deactivated should a counselor happen to see him. While this ability seems extremely powerful, it's cool to see that it has a lot of elements that can be balanced or tweaked as necessary easily down the road. Now, there's not much to say about this next one, but it's definitely worth including that there are a lot more unique kills added to the game. Although I'm pretty certain my absolute favorite will always remain Jason punching off someone's head. It's hilarious every time. Also worth mentioning are the added characters since beta, Brandon, Eric, and Adam. The developers have also spent some time updating men's butts in the game to look more buddy. Let's move on. Since the beta, it's also been confirmed that Jason will have some sort of throwing weapon, whether it's darts or knives. I think this is a great addition and also helps stop some of the infinite loops we saw in the game, where counselors would just run Jason around in circles and he couldn't do anything to get them for extended amounts of time. It was always annoying to have escaped or died, and the only player left in the lobby was running Jason around in circles infinitely, and this is all you had to watch until the game timed out. I can't wait to see those players get hit in the face with a knife or a dart. Let's now get on to what I think is the biggest change we've been given thus far. Jason's ability to trap counselors. Yup, this is a thing. While Jason's traps are similar to the bear traps counselors have to use on Jason, they work and look a bit differently. Jason starts the match with a set number of traps in his inventory, and the different playable Jasons have different set amounts of traps available to them at the start of a match. Once Jason sets one of his traps, he loses it forever and it can't be moved, picked up, or put back into his inventory. He also can't find any more traps on the map at all, so the amount he starts with, that's what he gets. He can only place his traps on environmental locations, so this means that traps won't be found inside cabins or buildings or on docks or things like that. But the traps do blend in well with the environment, which makes them an increased threat to counselors who aren't paying attention. Now, for the sake of keeping this video shorter, I'm not wanting to go into too much detail on this, but it absolutely needs to be mentioned that at launch, counselors will not be able to deactivate Jason's traps. The developers want to implement a system for counselors to be able to deactivate the traps, but this feature won't be implemented until after the game launches. They're aiming for a day 1 patch that includes this feature. I think it's safe to say that we're all hoping we get this as a day 1 patch and don't have to go on too long with Jason having these traps that we can't disarm. Now, if you don't already think these traps are powerful enough, when a counselor gets trapped in one, Jason gets an audible cue that one of his traps was activated, and the trap that went off will also be flashing on his minimap or his map that he uses to morph with. This means when a trap goes off with a counselor in it, he can be there in seconds. So it's clear to see that the traps are an extremely powerful force and easily one of the most significant changes to the game since the beta. I know the changes that were mentioned in this video so far haven't covered every single change since the beta, but I wanted to cover the things that seem to carry the most weight. I know a lot of us are really frustrated or upset that we don't yet have a release date, but Gun Media and Elphonic are excellent teams, and it's easy to appreciate how transparent they've been with this game, its development, and the changes they've been making. It's clear to see that they really care about the community for this game, but more importantly, care about the health of this game. And although it seems like there's still no release date in sight, I'm thankful for every step the teams have taken, and the fact that they've been open with us along the way. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Leave a comment below including your favorite change or your favorite changes, and what has you most excited to play this game. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope that some of you out there enjoyed it or even found out some new information. And if you haven't already, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more Friday the 13th content, including daily uploads once the game is released. And as always, for those of you interested, I'm going to leave you with the rest of this gameplay. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching the video.
What you doing here? You want the popsicle?
Yeah, I would have liked you to call the cops 15 minutes ago.
That
He was
kid's so
chasing
bad.
me.
No. No.
But you're just a scaredy baby who hides in closets. And you're playing
Didn't
Vanessa.
want to
He
buy
knows
my
you're in the
popsicle.
closet. I hope you know that.
So, no. You didn't
I
want
hope
to
you
buy my
know he
popsicle,
sees
so
you
go
at Vanessa in the
yourself.
closet, so it doesn't work.
Blah, 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 blah.
So yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
You guys, it's gonna be alright. We're all gonna get away. It'll be fine. Carlo, you never came back as
Why not be kind?
as Jarvis. I called Jarvis, so I don't know what that's about. You should have come back as a different guy with a gun. No, I don't have any keys, but the police are on their way. Wait, beta keys or car keys? Beta keys, yeah, I have beta keys. I can hook you up with some beta keys for certain.
What's up, bro?
But if you're just meaning car keys for this round, I don't have any.
GG!
If you want a beta key, if you want to get some time in before the beta expires, just add me on Steam or follow me on Twitter and I can message them to you there. Whatever you prefer. We got about a minute till the police show up. We're gonna find out what side they're at and make our way there. Did they have Sprite in the 80s? They definitely had Sprite, right? Because that looks like a Sprite ripoff. What do you guys want? A baseball bat or a stick? A lot of players go to the left for the police. Not too sure why. I'm pretty sure it's a 50-50, so it's always, everybody always seems to gravitate left. And thanks for what? I didn't give you anything yet. I could. I'm assuming you did actually mean beta keys, so if that's the case, add me on whatever you prefer, and I'll message you some keys, and then you can play for the day. The beta is supposed to be ending tonight. Maybe they'll have a second beta. I know next month we actually have a Friday the 13th, January 13th. So they'll either hopefully do another beta. I mean, it's Friday the 13th. They got to do something, or maybe the game will actually release that day. It seems relatively far along, and a lot of the bugs seem like quick fixes, and some stuff they've even patched right on the spot without taking much time to do so. So maybe it'll see its release, but hopefully, if anything, they'll make a lot of gameplay tweaks and then release the game, or just try them out with a beta. Yo, Dan, are you stuck in a door or something again? Yeah, you know, I would think that going over to console, they'd have a unique set of issues versus the PC version. So a beta on the consoles is something I feel like they should consider or try doing. The game is made in Unreal Engine, which is generally similar, or it ports well to a lot of different platforms. Oh, shit. I was letting my stamina recharge. I didn't think Jason was going to come get us over here. You're back? That's a plus. I don't know how that just worked out. I hope you didn't let us off easy, Dan. I hope you didn't realize it was us and then decide not to kill us. He's picking on me. Come in. Come in, you puss. Yo, come in. He's got us trapped. I think Hollow just took him down. We're gonna need Vanessa to help us out here. We're out of run. We're gonna get grabbed. Help! No. Vanessa just saved the day. I'm not gonna stay back any longer. We're out of here. I think we all made it. I guess Baitmaster did. Oh no, he escaped. I'm glad you got to come back as Jarvis. That's pretty sick. You get some more gameplay in. Another shot at the survival bonus, which I'm guessing you are getting.